Hi, it's Kai. Number 10, Parker Simpson. In June 2017, Parker Simpson was in the middle of the Sambo Reef of Boca Chica in the Florida Keys, doing some spearfishing when a crazed shark came out of the deep and attacked him. Good thing he wasn't alone and his friend Justin was with him, or he might not have lived to tell the story. He had just caught a fish when the shark seemed determined to attack him. The shark went in for a bite, ripping into Parker's leg, the tissue, and his tibial artery, causing him to lose a liter of blood as well as a chunk of his leg. I can only imagine the panic and horror Parker must have felt when he resurfaced and saw that the boat was 65 feet away. I assumed he was trying to steal the black grouper I was holding, but after I lost the grouper and watched it swim to the bottom, the shark kept coming at us, Simpson wrote on his medical bills fundraising page. Justin went back down for my gun and actually shoved it in the shark's mouth like a badass. The shark then took it straight to the bottom while we rushed back to the boat and to safety. One can only guess what would have happened if his friend had not been there. Not just because of the injury, but the fact that even if Simpson would have got back to the boat on his own, he wouldn't have had the ability to get to shore without bleeding out. He was then taken to the hospital and received 56 stitches for his shark wound. Just as frightening was that there was a video of the whole attack, and we can bet that Parker Simpson wasn't keen on rewatching what happened to him. Number 9, the boat attack. More times than not, when you hear about a boat being attacked by sharks, it's for the plot of a movie, like in Jaws or The Meg. But one time, near Long Beach, New York, a boat was attacked by sharks, and no one was making a movie. A group of guys were out doing some fishing and relaxing when they came upon a whale carcass floating in the water. No doubt they were just amazed by that rare sight, but then they realized that it wasn't the only thing in the water. There was a pack of great white sharks eating the carcass, and they didn't like that the boat was interrupting their feeding time. The sharks were so annoyed that they started to circle the boat, and using a GoPro camera, one of the men took incredible shots of the sharks circling and even attacking the boat's engines at one point, showing just how fearless they were and how adamant the sharks were for this boat to get out of their area. It is thought that the group of sharks were in the process of migrating north towards Cape Cod, where they feed upon the seal population. Regardless of whether that was true or not, the footage of the sharks being near the surface and just lurking as they tried to strike the boat is not something anyone would want to see on their boating adventure. Number 8, Shark Week. While it's very true that sharks are feared by many, there's also a reverence to them that can't be ignored, and that's why Discovery Channel dedicates a week of its summer programming to going and highlighting everything about sharks. Shark Week dives deep into the realms of sharks and examines them from every angle. But as one team found out, that means getting really, really close to the sharks and potentially having them attack you. The program in question was Lair of the Mega Shark, and it was off the Stewart Island when the film crew went into their inflatable dinghy to accomplish a certain filming task. The task? Put a camera on the fin of a nearby 20-foot great white in order to see where it goes and follow it to the feeding grounds where a rumored mega shark was said to be around. Easy peasy, right? If you can sense the problems with this plan, you would be smarter than the two men in the dinghy, because their plan was to lure the shark to the surface with some bait and then attach the camera to its fin. But when they tried to do so, the 20-foot shark rammed into the dinghy, took the bait, and then got caught on their tether line that held the dinghy to the Argo, the larger vessel it was attached to. It thrashed around next to the boat, leaping out of the water. As the narrator noted, if that line was cut, the boat would have been unstable, and the shark almost seemed to know that as it tried to snap it in half. It's a little nerve-wracking being in a boat no bigger than the size of the shark, one of the cameramen says. The shark is actually bigger than the boat. It was around that point in time when the cameraman and the host started to realize that this was a bad idea, and after a second failed attempt also almost got their boat wrecked, they decided to call it off. This was likely a very wise decision by all parties. What would you do if a shark attacked your boat? Let me know in the comments below, and while you're at it, like this video and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Number 7, the motor attack. Scott Fitzgerald and some friends were about 8 miles off the coast of Florida doing some fishing when all of a sudden, an impressive-sized great white shark came around and started to attack the very boat they were on. Scott wisely had everyone keep an eye out while also making sure they didn't fall into the water. He later detailed the attack and what happened, including what part of the boat the shark attacked. He had the entire trolling motor in his mouth and was moving it side to side, and it was shaking the boat, Fitzgerald said. I've been chartering for 9 years, and I've never seen a shark try to attack my boat. It was very exciting for all of us. It really got our hearts beating hard. If you recall, this is the second shark versus motor story I've told, and it might make you curious as to why sharks go after motors. That would be because of the electrical impulses that the motors give off. The sharks can sense them and are drawn to them, and thus they try to take the motors for themselves, thinking it's something they can eat. During the struggle, Scott had to repeatedly lift the motor up and away from the shark in order to stop it from damaging the motor further. Number 6. Shark versus Chum Bag. Something that often gets forgotten about sharks is that they have incredible senses that detect food, or at the very least, potential food, from very far away. A great example of this was a shark attack off the coast of New Jersey, where Steve Clark and his friends were on a fishing boat when a great white shark appeared and circled them for about 20 minutes. It was awesome. It wasn't scary because we're used to sharks. It was awesome, Clark said. It swam down the length of the boat, and I happened to see it first. Obviously, I was a little bit stunned. I didn't say anything to anybody. I was looking at it, trying to process the information. It was quite a big fish. Footage analysis states that it was likely 16 feet long, and after circling the boat, it went after the chum bag that was dangling off the side of the vessel. Steve and his friends watched in shock as the shark just lazily rose up from the water, like, "Hi friends, thanks for the snack," and started to eat the bag and its contents before ripping it away and going down its path. A curious thing here is that one of the members of the boat seemed particularly grief-stricken that the chum bag was gone, to which someone wisely noted that they will buy him a new one. This is smart because getting between a shark and its meal is never a good idea. Number 5. Rainer Schimpftor. South Africa is easily a great place to see great white sharks. They even have shark cages that you can pay to go in so that you can dive underwater and witness these sharks up close. But if you're lucky, like Rainer Schimpf and his tour boat passengers were, when they were doing a sardine run off the coast of Morsel Bay, the shark might just come to you. They were just minding their business and stopping to take pictures of the sardine run when all of a sudden, the shark was there. "We stopped to take pictures and suddenly, the shark appeared next to the boat," said Schimpf in an interview with Max Animal about the attack. This particular great white shark was female, and she was about 4.5 meters long. Everybody was really excited. The shark swam around the boat and suddenly decided to turn sideways and bite into the back port side pontoons of the boat, which deflated them immediately, Schimpf said, adding, "The shark may have mistaken the boat for a dead whale. This is the only logical explanation." This again goes back to the shark's senses and what it detects from boats. What's more, sharks are known to be very hands-on, or in this case, mouths-on, when it comes to detecting potential meals. They'll use their whole mouths to see what an object tastes like, and when it does, it'll then determine whether it's worth it or not. Clearly, this shark thought it was worth it because it really did take a chunk out of the boat. Number 4. Shirley Durden. Sadly, not all shark encounters end with a near-death escape, or with just a boat being injured. One of the most legendary and infamous shark attacks ever happened to one 33-year-old mother of 4, Shirley Durden, back in 1985 off the coast of Peak Bay in South Australia. She, her husband, and another man were doing some snorkeling in Port Lincoln. They were looking for scallops, and as they were returning to shore, a great white shark about 20 feet long, based on eyewitness accounts, came out of nowhere and attacked Shirley. In a report, it stated that she was literally bit in half by the shark. A rescue was attempted, but by the time the body was reached, there wasn't much of a body left. Not just because of the damage the shark had done, but because the shark had literally ate parts of Shirley. Shirley Durden's attack was the first fatal attack in South Australian waters since 1974. What's more, it's one of the few documented times that a shark has not only killed a human, but ate them. Number 3. The Pacific Coast Attacks. In 1984, Over the period of about 2 weeks, a series of shark attacks rocked the Pacific coast, killing a handful of people. It's believed the increasing population of seals and sea lions attracted the hungry sharks. One of the documented attacks on an abalone diver was said to be quite gruesome. Paul Parsons was hospitalized with a 7-inch gash right on his butt after he was attacked by a great white shark in waters 30 feet deep outside of Tamales Bay. Another one of the victims of these attacks was Omar Cogner. He was simply relaxing on the waters, minding his own business, when his friend Chris suddenly saw a great white shark rear up behind him and attack. It grabbed him from behind and, while shaking him violently, pulled him under the water. Chris later told researchers after the attack. The shark would let go of Omar and actually make his way to Chris to attack him as well. But Chris was able to get himself and Omar on the mat and then carefully swam ashore. However, it was too late for his friend, as Omar bled to death in the water. All of these men were wearing wetsuits, because that's what you wear, and the sharks probably thought that when they were splashing around in the water, that they were a seal or a sea lion. Number 2, Barry Wilson. 17-year-old Barry Wilson is another case of a shark attack happening without provocation or warning. As he was swimming near Lover's Point off the Californian coast in 1952, when all of a sudden, people nearby realized that something was wrong. He was getting jerked around by something. Then, out of the water came a shark that attacked him. Wilson was able to get to the surface and scream for help, and many did answer his call to arms to try and save his life. In fact, a 30-minute struggle happened in order to try and save him, but by the time he got to the shore, he had bled out. Number 1, Randall Fry. Randall Fry and his friend, Cliff Zimmerman, were doing some abalone diving in California in 2004. They were swimming together when Zimmerman said he had just looked away and heard a kind of whooshing sound next to him, as well as a massive burst of water. As he turned around, he saw that Randall was gone, and all that was around him was water and a shark fin. Moments after that, the ocean started to turn red, and he knew what happened. Zimmerman fled for his life, which, for the record, is not recommended as those sounds attract sharks, but he got to shore. But as for Fry, his severed body was found the next day. The shark had killed him. One of his friends, Franco, a San Mateo Coast fisherman, commented on the incident. He used to talk about sharks. You know, he'd say, "When I go, I bet it'll be a shark." But nobody believed him. Thanks for watching. What do you think of these crazy shark attack stories? Have you ever had a close call with a shark? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos like these. See you next time. Bye!